welcome to Dead Guys Talking. This is our third video in this week's episode, basically, of Dead Guys Talking. I'm Johnny Walker.
And I'm Tyler. Welcome to part 3 of this week's episode.
Awesome. So in part 1, we kind of went over the introduction of what we're doing here with the beers this week. Kind of have a mixed six-pack of Great Basin, which is a local brewery from Nevada. Also, we talked about just kind of the interaction of the show and where we wanted to evolve. So, you know, like I said, we want to make this a drinking game. You know, flash that special password on the screen again. So every time that we say that word, go ahead and take a drink if you are of legal status to do so. Also, like I said before, this is a zombie show. So what do zombie show? You know, we're trying to infect you. It means you are essentially infected with our virus. So what do? You pass it on. You go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, you go on Twitter, and you tell people about this show. That's how we keep making these shows. If you guys like them, we keep making them. And then the last but not least is a Q&A section. If you guys would like to interact and hear your voices on Dead Guys Talking, just leave your comments and your questions and just put Q&A before the comment so we know it's for the Q&A, and we will talk about it on the show. If we have enough questions and comments, we will do an entire Q&A, special Dead Guys Talking Q&A show.
Absolutely, and make sure you guys tell us what you're drinking in the comments.
Yeah,
let us know the different breweries or different beers you're drinking and where you're drinking, and let us know.
Absolutely, and again, just you are infected after watching this episode, so please share on Facebook. Go on the They Said We Said Facebook group page. If you're not on there already, we have about 300 people signed up on that, so go ahead and you can share on there, or even just spread the disease.
Spread it.
Spread this disease. We want this in all the houses.
That's right. We don't want us to be a household disease.
That's right. So we, the first things first, we're going to get into our third beer as promised. This is a special kind of beer review because we are doing a Great Basin kind of tour.
Yep.
So we already had the Bitchin' Berry.
Wild Horse Amber.
Yep. And now we're on to the Icky IPA. It's a highly evolved brew, apparently.
I guess so. Which, like we said, we're stout guys, but we do kind of venture off into the other, types of beer. IPAs are, really hit or miss for me, so we'll see how this goes.
And this is probably my favorite style of beer of the 3 that we've tried. The first one was kind of like a berry cider, I want to say.
Yeah.
Second one was an amber ale, and this is a IPA. And this one's a 6.4, which is pretty high alcohol content for an IPA, and the highest one that we've tried so far. I think we've learned our lesson, so we've actually called an audible. I've switched to Glenn.
You shown?
Yeah, we're kind of going off of our regular Daryl and Rick, but I think the berry was so potent that it took over our poor amber ale.
Yes. So let's see how this one goes.
This one's beautiful golden color, as you expect from a West Coast IPA. Not sure what kind of hops they've used for this one. I'm looking forward to something a little hoppy. I mean, the first thing we got was just like a weird kind of juice. The second one was a very malty amber. So it's going to be a nice change of pace to actually get some hops.
Now, I typically would prefer an amber over an IPA.
It doesn't say which hops they use. It's just malts, hops, and yeast.
Bold marriage. It's talking about love.
Ooh, this is the theme of the day. Talking about love.
Pioneering spirit.
So right off the bat, like, huge on the nose, West Coast IPA. You got a big blast of just hops. Pine tree. It smells pretty dry, too. I'm not getting a lot of tropical fruits like I do off usual IPAs. This one just smells like it's going to be a big hot punch.
Real kick in the teeth of just pine tree
goodness or badness. Where's Tyler? All right, sir.
an IPA.
I think it's great.
Not my favorite, but far from my least favorite.
Yeah, dank. This one is very dank. It's got that like kind of, well, it's legal now. It's got that kind of like hint of weed taste. It's got the.
I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about, officer. I don't watch YouTube while I'm driving while smoking weed. No, it's got the big hit of dankness. It's got the hops, but it's not overpowering. It's not just like a blast of pine needles. It's there. I mean,
it's stronger than like a session, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as much of a kick you in the teeth with pine needles as I thought it would be.
it's more well balanced with the malt in this one. This one still has a high malt content, I think.
And a little bit more like creamy and frothy than
Are we still talking about the beer?
than your typical IPA.
Yeah.
But
Anything but icky. I'm Great Basin. Good job.
not mad.
This was definitely your best showing at this table. let me
Yes.
tell you.
Eric, Jimmy, you'll be proud.
Yeah. Good job, guys. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And if anyone's drinking with us, we just drink the hell out of this thing, right? They're like, okay, stop it.
Yeah.
Get on to the rest. We're like, shit. All right, so it's time, guys, for your favorite and mine, Tyler's Big Five.
Tyler's Big Five. I've been throwing around some ideas all week in my head and just kind of thinking about it a little bit, but I don't want to prepare too much. So, top 5 most impactful zombie kills. So this has to be either a zombie, random walker, or a character that has officially turned. So it can't be that a character dies and gets put out before they turn. They had to have turned.
You go first this time, sir.
Is it my turn to go first?
It
Okay.
is.
All right. So we're gonna go with my number 5. Number 5 is Sophia.
Wow.
It was in season 2, towards the end, after they spent the entire season looking for her.
To the dismay of everybody.
Yeah. And I didn't like a certain part. I didn't like that every other zombie walked out of the barn except for her, and they killed, and then she just kind of comes creeping out into the light,
Right, yeah.
and she's like... But when you see Carol's reaction, and Daryl just like tackle her to prevent her, and then Rick grabs the python, and then just boom, and obviously it was a very emotional scene for one of my favorite characters, Carol.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it was a child. It was someone that was close to everybody. So, and it was still fairly new in the apocalypse, time frame. They weren't as used to killing and as used to death as they are now.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me,
Especially
it was,
the child.
yeah, especially the child.
After that, Carol's like, I'll kill living kids.
Right, she's like, I don't care. Sophia's dead. You're going down, Lizzie. Look at the flowers, Lizzie.
Yeah, you got ADD, kid? Boom! I ain't got time for
I
that.
don't know. I got time for that.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, that was to me pretty impactful. So what do you think?
I'll tell you what I think later. So I'll go to my number 5. And that is Michonne's Entourage.
Oh, good one.
Because we still got to see it. This was my audible, or this is my wild card, which I think we're gonna have similar lists, folks, because great minds and all.
Exactly.
But I thought, like, which one can I put on there that I don't think? And this is one, because technically we do get to see them before they are zombies in a flashback.
Well, even though you don't have to see them.
Yeah.
You just had to see them as zombies.
Right. Okay.
So
Okay.
I just said if they were a character,
Gotcha.
They couldn't just be like, oh, they died, so we got to shoot them in the head before they turn.
Gotcha.
So as long as they're zombies, they're zombies.
Yeah.
So
and we did get the added bonus of the flashback scene, and it was her boyfriend and his friend, and it was impactful in a way, but I think it was more impactful to us than it was to her, because she just basically
Absolutely.
carried them around as guard dogs. And it was the guts trick without having to get messy. Like, she figured it out.
Yeah.
And she had them. She was carrying them around, even with her and Andrea. And then, when she didn't need them anymore, they just said, nope, those guys aren't coming in. Comic and show. She's like, oh, these? Wow.
Yeah, nonchalant.
That was it. Done.
Done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Served their purpose, and let's move on. And she's done the trick once or twice since then, but it was just so like crazy to see how cold-blooded Michonne was when we first met her in the show, of how she just carried around her boyfriend and carried around his buddy, and then, hey, I don't need you anymore, and that's it.
Yeah, just nonchalant, just done. So,
Yep.
Good pick.
Yay! Finally, I didn't get a lot of those from him.
Impressed.
I didn't get a Merle. All right, you're 4, sir.
Alrighty. My number 4, and I promise they're not all children.
Oh God.
My number 4 was from episode 1. The little girl.
Whoa! Talk about a
That's
freaking
carrying the teddy bear.
yeah.
And
That brings up. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
part of the reason that this was so impactful to me is because this was before Rick was even used, or we were, the audience, or anybody was really even used to killing zombies in general.
Right.
And I remember when I watched this episode, obviously before I was a hardened Walking Dead, fan. I'm just like, oh shit, what is he gonna do? Like, and at that time I'm thinking, I don't know if I could do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a zombie, but it's a child.
Right,
Could
right,
I
right.
really pull the trigger? And but Rick, being Rick, he does what he has to do.
Yeah.
And
Again, pipe
puts
on
her
her
down.
ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was shocking for everybody
Yeah.
because it was a child. And, everything from, the teddy bear to, like, the bunny slippers, like, just, it was very impactful. And it really prepared us all. That one scene, I think, really prepared us for the rest of the show.
Wow. Great point. Great pick too. It was. There's a couple things of why this is such an important scene. A, because it, like you said, it sets up for, okay, this is what this show is. It's no holds barred. Nothing's off the table. Women, children, everything. If it's a zombie, it's going, and then later on, it's not even just zombies. It's whatever. It's this kind of a show. And that kind of was a litmus test, I think. Are you still on board? You just killed a kid.
Right, yeah.
Are we still watching this? Okay. Let's get a little crazier now.
Exactly.
But it was that. It was the other thing when you were saying that about the bear, is what we were talking about with freaking Morgan's wife.
Yeah.
This, because you see the feet shambling on with the bunny slippers, then she bends down, and you don't even know if she's really a zombie at this point or not. You just see a little child pick up a stuffed animal and then kind of shamble on. And yeah, so I think, and I just saw in the comments from that video, Debbie, she was getting over some illness or whatever, but now she's back and writing her novel reviews on our comment section.
Oh, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. But she said that, yeah, maybe it was something with the early strain of this infection. Maybe, you still retain some kind of those motor skills. And this is never explained in the comic or the show or anything like that. But, maybe those this first wave of walkers, when the virus was in its infancy, it did, you did kind of maintain some kind of semblance of something. This zombie was just walking through a parking lot. It's just like, I'm a kid, I guess, something or other, and I know I should like that, and I picked this up. Or, I'm a mother, I think that's my house. I think my child is there. Obviously later we find out that she ate her own son. So, as this thing progresses, you lose, it's degenerative maybe. There's a lot of interesting, medical questions that these two scenes brought up. I'm so glad that you brought up this walker, because we got to talk about this more. But yeah, it was a great scene. The timeline was everyone's like, what is this timeline? It doesn't happen in the comics, this scene or whatever.
No.
I assume that this is and I just kind of figured this out, and I might be wrong, but I assume this is right after kind of when Rick leaves Morgan and his son on his way to Atlanta.
Yeah, I feel, to me, that's like guaranteed. That's
Okay.
Like he is on his way to Atlanta. He runs out of gas, and then he's trying to find gas. Then he finds the horse.
Right. Yeah.
So
it makes sense.
Yeah. And to kind of add on to what you were saying, they do mention something in the comics, which is right after they die, they're more active, and I don't know the right verbiage, I don't remember, but he mentions that basically like their motor skills are a little more advanced, and then as they decompose, and the longer that they've been dead, that slowly goes away. They become slower and not as active, I guess.
Okay.
And I guess that's why, because I don't know if we mentioned it in one of the episodes or if it was in the Ghost or a review, but I remember we talked about it and talked about how, in episode, what was it, 2?
Okay.
Whatever episode it was, 2 or 3, I believe, when Rick and Glenn covered themselves in the walker ponchos. When the walkers actually climb the fence to chase after them, when they're getting in the vehicle, in that that box truck, the rain comes down and they run and then they climb over. The zombies are actually climbing the fence.
Right.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Not at all.
And I've always kind of like, I didn't like that. But after I read that comic,
you didn't like that they climbed it, or you didn't like that they don't anymore?
I didn't like that they could. I mean, zombies don't climb. Come on, they don't climb.
Yeah, it's hard to climb a fence. I can't fucking climb a fence at this point.
But I think it was Abraham in the comics that said something about it.
I think so too.
And so that kind of made more sense to me. Which, if you guys don't read the comics, and I know we keep on referring that to, and the comics are new to me, but it brings so much more clarity to a lot of different things, and makes other things make more sense. Like,
it confuses some stuff too.
Really, yeah.
But I know what you're saying.
And then they'll go off in a completely different direction. Like, okay, just for instance, Andrea and Dale. They go in a completely different direction, but it gives you the background of where Andrea and Amy met Dale.
Yeah.
And why they were close, and why Dale said the things that he said to Andrea, like, you and your sister were the first things I've cared about in a long time. You understand why after you've read the comics.
Correct.
If you haven't read the comics, go out, read them, watch The Walking Dead,
right?
Something, and it'll bring a lot more clarity,
absolutely,
to what you're watching. So, but anyways, so that kind of made sense to me. That when you're more fresh, like when they're fresher, or more not as decomposed, and their motor skills their nerves and everything aren't as dead.
Okay.
So that's why she turned the doorknob, Morgan's wife. That's why the walkers were hopping the fences. That's why the child was picking up the bear and carrying the teddy bear, because, like you said, she knew, hey, there was still a part of her natural nervous system that told her, hey, I like this teddy bear because I'm a child.
Right. And then, the disease is so aggressive that obviously as soon as she saw a piece of food, which was Rick at the time, she turned around and attacked immediately, forgot all of those little things. So it actually goes to make you think that even in this stage of, on the show or in the comic, that all these walkers that are off camera, are they doing these small little human things?
Yeah. That's a good point.
I don't know. It's just real fun to think about.
Exactly.
And Kirkman's probably just like, whatever. I did it because I felt like it.
Yeah, exactly.
F off. He's such a jerk, but great jerk. Keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
We love you, but you're a jerk.
You're kind of like a mix between Robert Kirkman and Chris Hardwick. You.
Me? How I look or what?
Like if Robert Kirkman and Chris Hardwick had a baby,
Ooh.
it would be you.
Now that's a science project that I don't think we'll see. But with that, I'm going to go on to number 4. We just went to a weird place, people. I'm going to go to my number 4 most impactful character turned zombie, or zombie kill, and that would be Amy.
Okay.
Amy is Andrea's younger sister. Amy, ate it basically at the campsite. She just had to go pee. Poor chick just had to pee.
She wanted some toilet paper.
She just wanted toilet paper, and then and on the neck and everything. And in the comic, I think it was just a neck bite.
Yeah.
But it was cool. That was one of the. You know what? That was actually my first page I ever looked at in the Walking Dead comic book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jason had the graphic novel on his Jason's or my brother-in-law.
I was gonna say, Jason, your brother.
Yeah, Jason had the graphic novel on his kitchen counter. Yeah, so that was my first introduction to the Walking Dead comic book and the Walking Dead as a whole. Yeah, I mean it was a nice, or it definitely shot the Andrea character off in her apex, especially in the comic book, and I guess in the show. But that's all I have to say about Amy.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about Amy a little bit because she's my number 3.
And it's your turn to be your number 3.
Yes, exactly.
See how we did that?
Line it up perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Amy, was the first person that we knew that we had to kill as a zombie.
Right.
That's why I think there's no way around her being on this list.
Right.
And the whole scene. And now also one thing to notice is it took almost 12 hours for her to turn.
Yes.
Because it happened at night.
Mm-hmm.
Andrea stayed up next to her all night, and then the next morning came, they were cleaning up zombies, burning walkers, all that stuff. And then Amy finally, turned. And I don't know if that goes with the strand as it evolved. It became smarter.
And faster. Yeah.
But it took a long time. But when she did finally turn, not only was she the first person that we knew, as a person, but she had to be killed by, Andrea had to kill her sister.
Right.
And she was, so emotional about it. And I don't know her name, but the gal who plays Andrea did a great job on this scene. And I think her role on The Walking Dead was kind of up and down.
It was very hit or miss.
Yeah, very hit or miss. I think sometimes she just hit it out of the park, and sometimes it was kind of what?
More misses than hits. Fair.
But I think she did a great part, just like ugly crying.
Absolutely, you're killing your sister.
And then she put her sister down, and everybody at the camp was just kind of either in tears or in shock.
Yeah. Amy is just such a perfect person and such a sweet person, and again, that's the type of people that don't survive in this environment. So she was, on borrowed time. She was cut from the same cloth as a Beth. Beth turned out to be a little bit harder later, but still, she wanted to opt out as soon as it happened. But yeah, Amy, good job getting bit while trying to go pee. My number 3 is Sophia. Like I said, we were going to talk about her again. Not much else to say about Sophia that you didn't already cover. She was the basis of the entire second season. It sucked. It was shocking to me in the fact that I was a comic book reader. Spoiler alert, Sophia's alive and well in the comic, and actual Sophia, I'm not going to correct myself later. She's alive and well in the comic book. I really like her in the comic book too. You could tell that all this shit still affects her quite a bit. But, as she progresses, she gets a little better. She is basically, in the show, Enid's taken Sophia's role. Enid is basically Sophia in the show. At this point, with the whole Carl relationship aspect of it. Yeah, Sophia was great. It sucked for me to see her go like that, just because I don't like seeing kids die, but whatever. It served its purpose in the plot and made Carol amazing.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And yeah, like you said, she's still alive in the comics. So, I mean, I watched the show, then read the comics, so I was surprised that she kept on still, living.
Yeah.
But in the comics, you said, yeah, she's affected, but at the same time, she still keeps her innocence.
Yeah.
Seems, and she still just wants to go out and play. She wants to play with Carl. Yeah, she's like, hey, Carl, be my boyfriend.
I love that.
Yeah.
They do that. Go with that. Carl, you want to be my boyfriend? Fine.
But we're just going to hold hands.
Yeah.
And then, the whole her relationship with Maggie and everything like that.
Yeah.
But, I guess her and Carol kind of...
Yeah, it's like her adopted mother. And
yeah.
So, yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Maggie gets to be Sophia's adopted mother in the comic book, basically.
Okay, so now we're on to my number 2. My number 2 is... Merle?
Guess what? My number 2 is Merle.
Merle?
He's my second favorite character. Oh, it never gets old. I knew it. You SOB, man. Like, you had to pick something where you could not put Merle on.
I'm going to make sure he's on every Tyler's Big Five.
Well, even the dog was pissed.
Yeah, he's like, Merle.
He's all, Merle. Everyone's over Merle. Just quickly, run it down.
Yes, so there's not much left to say that we haven't said. I mean, he finally became not a douchebag. He did some selfless acts and killed some of the governor's henchmen. And then him as a walker was eating the henchman that he just killed. And then Daryl, his brother, who they've had this relationship of love and hate, kills him and he just bashes him, his skull in, and he starts crying. And I mean, that's just one of the best scenes in the entire show.
Absolutely.
So,
and all the sad Daryl memes, I'm gonna boop, 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 there they are, moving along. Yeah,
like I said, he's like Chuck Norris.
Like Chuck Norris. Chuck freaking Norris that loves chocolate-covered pretzels. Everyone knows the Merle stuff. Moving along. You're number 1.
So, my number 1 is probably the same as his. Shane.
Yay! I knew we would have a similar list. We've talked at length about Shane. Yes, huge impact. This set Rick on his apex, his rocket, zoom to where he is now. Shane had to die. Shane was trying to take his girl. I mean,
it's true.
Shane was a total douche, or not total douche. He was not a douche at all. He was awesome.
I wouldn't say he was a total douche.
And I loved him. I loved him in the show a lot more than the comic. In the comic, we got 4?
Yeah, he was gone so quick
issues
in the comic.
But I love that Rick went back.
Yeah,
in the comic.
Yeah,
we haven't talked about that. That was a cool scene.
Oh, absolutely. So I mean, really, for this as the most impactful zombie kill, it might be number 1 in both the show and the comic.
Great point. Yeah.
And it's the same duo who kills Shane and the zombie.
Yep.
Just maybe in the same order.
In a little different way. I think Carl shoots him in the neck.
Carl kills him.
Alive.
In the comic, yes.
Alive, yeah.
Rather than Rick.
Right.
And then Carl kills the zombie Shane in the show, where Rick kills the zombie. Yeah. So.
Yeah, he stabbed him in the show? And
no. Yeah, he stabbed him in the show.
Clear this up for me. Because at this point, Rick talked to Jenner. Rick talked to Dr. Jenner, not Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner, whatever the fuck that is. That's a story for another day.
F-bomb.
There's like 4. They're different episodes though, so I can say more. I can say more F-words. Yeah! Yes. Yeah, he already talked to Jenner. That was Jenner's secret that he whispered in Rick's ear so romantically. He said, it's not just people that get bitten. Everyone's infected, is basically what he said.
Right.
So why the hell was Rick so surprised? Well, first off, why did Rick try to kill his friend with a knife then? because if he knew that, if he had that information, why did he do it that way? Was he testing a theory? You know, but he looked pretty damn surprised.
I think he was surprised it happened so fast.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
going back to
Talk about
Amy,
switch turn or a quick turnaround.
yeah. So going back to like the Amy turn and stuff like that, how it took so long. I think he just didn't expect it to take so long. But I mean, you would still figure a guy like Rick would just want to go ahead and after he killed him, he dropped on the ground, he would go ahead and just through the eyeball or something.
Right.
But I think Carl came, and once again, I need to rewatch some of these earlier seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Carl comes up on him and maybe distracts him from maybe doing that task.
Okay, yeah, I get
He
that.
thinks he has much more time.
He turns so fast. And again, like you said, or like to your point earlier, you said that maybe in the beginning of the apocalypse, how the virus was set up, it went faster. People turned, or I'm sorry, it was, I don't know, what did you say?
Well,
sorry, it's the end of the show. This is what happens. What the hell did you say?
In the beginning, it took longer for them to turn.
Okay.
But
that was a fast
at
turn.
the beginning of the turn, right? But that was season 2,
right?
Compared to season 1, when Amy goes in season 1, it was like I don't know how long, but at least it was hours compared to minutes.
No, I get that, but I mean, as far as chronologically goes, we're talking about days. I mean,
no way, dude, because you got to think.
I guess they were on the farm for a while.
They were still at the camp.
Yeah.
And then they were out on the highway looking for Sophia. Then they made it to the farm. So realistically, I mean, they were at the camp for their couple days.
You know what the best way to do this is? Go to Trev's Chan, too. Trev.
In his most recent
We love
video.
you. One of his most recent videos is his holiday special where he explains the actual timeline of The Walking Dead. He even has the Shane kill and everything. But, whatever,
regardless.
It's close as far as what I'm saying.
Yeah, it can't be more than weeks.
Yeah, it can't be more than weeks. So,
but as a virus evolves,
yeah, I mean because like you said, Amy's turn was at least 12 hours. Shane's turn was
12 minutes.
It's just like
that.
Boom, I'm a zombie now. But so that's our number 1.
Yeah, that's our number 1.
So, guys, one thing left to do before we let you go, and we're just going to rate these beers real quick down the pike. I'm sure you can kind of see where we're going with this. But,
so how many Bitch and Berries would you rate the Bitch and Berry?
I'm going to give Bitch and Berry a 0.5 out of 5.
Wow.
I freaking hate it.
Under a 1.
I hated it.
Wow. Well, I wasn't a big fan of it.
Okay.
But I'm going to give it a 1.5.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it was tolerable.
Yeah, it didn't make
I drank
you
an
vomit.
entire beer. I mean, there's been
You were gonna
beers
do
that
that
I've,
anyways.
I mean, I've had some beers like can't even barely drink half of it. So I mean,
Fair enough.
I'd give it a 1.5 Bitch and Berries.
All right.
Out of 5.
No, 0.5 for me. Let's move on to the Great Basin Wild Horse Amber Ale. Why don't you kick us off?
Well, I'm going to jump it up 1 and say 2.5. As much as I like Great Basin Brewery and their outlaw milk stout is just it's a really, really good, easy to drink, sweet milk stout. As much as I like the brewery and like a lot of it's just because of that one beer, but as much as I like that brewery, I would say their amber was middle of the road.
Okay. So 2.5 for the Amber.
2.5 Wild Horses.
I will give it a 2.6. I like that a little more than you, but I wasn't crazy about it either. It was extremely malty. If you've ever had like a beer from like Trader Joe's or something, which I mean, kudos to Trader Joe's for even attempting beers, but it just tastes kind of like that kind of middle of the road, kind of lower end malty amber. It was just too malty for me, but I mean, it wasn't terrible. I wouldn't kick it out of bed. Yeah. And then on to our Icky IPA. I actually like this one a lot. I'm going to kick this one off. I'm going to give this one a 3.9. out of 5 ickies.
I'm not too far off from you. I really would just kick it up one more notch from where I went. I went from the 1.5 to 2.5.
See where you're going with this.
I'm going to keep it consistent. I'm going to say 3.5. One of the better IPAs I've had.
Yeah.
From not an IPA guy, I could drink a few of these and not be mad about it.
No, not at all. It was a nice balance, again, of malt and hops. It wasn't, I don't think it would crack my top 10, maybe close, cracking my top 10, but not
Top 10 beers?
Top 10 IPA. Okay, so that is Tyler's Big 5, and you know what that means, guys? That is the end of our show this week.
Good show.
Good show. Well, we'll let you be the judge of
I think it was
yeah,
good.
I think we did a hell of a job. So, guys, just leave comments below, and if we get enough Q&A questions, we will do an entire Q&A video. And spread the disease. If you guys watch our show and you like it, please share it on all your social media outlets: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, whatever the kids are using these days. And yeah.
You mean they're not on MySpace?
So, and I hope you enjoyed our first rendition of the drinking game. And in the comment section below, let us know how that worked out for you if you could type. Right? If you just type a bunch of consonants, that's good too.
It'll work. I'll take it.
So for Johnny Walker,
this is Tyler.
And we'll see you next time.
This is Dead Guys Talking.